Hello, everyone. Welcome to Psych 5, Personal and Social Awareness. And for this week, we are going to talk about topics related to work and recreation or leisure. And we have talked about sex, we have talked about gender, we have talked about relationships, love, and we have talked about how to manage stress in the past few weeks. And for this week, we're going to talk about something different, which is about work, about the career, and about the occupation. So let's start the lecture for today. And first of all, here are some basic concepts that we need to know about. And the first concept is work. So what is work? And I believe that everyone talks about this concept and say this word a lot in daily life. And what does that mean? The meaning of the work, in my point of view, is not that clear. And the definition in the textbook is that work is something to do because you want to do, or you enjoy to do. So that definition is still like fuzzy. So what is something that you want to do? So you can see that everything that you do in life is something you want to do or you enjoy to do, including having a dinner, including entertainment, including sleeping. So these things are something that you want to do in your life. So do they count as work? I'm not sure. So in my opinion, work is something that you want to do because you can get some benefits from finishing this work. So for example, going to work in a company and you can get salary for every week or for every month. So that's work that you can do, or some housework. So housework is something you need to do to maintain the house, to maintain the cleanness of this house. You need to wash the dishes. You need to clean you need to throw the trash and something. And these are the housework that you need to do because you want to maintain the cleanness or the organization of your own house. So that's called housework. You may or may not enjoy housework, but you have to do it anyways. And work is always, so in daily life, we always talk about work as something that you need to do or you have to do, and you can get some benefits after finishing it. So that's something considered as work. And the second concept is career. So career is a lifelong concept. It's a lifelong process. It covers your almost your entire life. So that's life's work. So that's what you do for your entire life. So in your career, there can be several occupations or professions or jobs in the whole career. So everyone has one career for his or her entire life. So that's career. That's like a procedure of your work on a axis of time. So occupation is the vocation or profession. So that's the major things that you do in your life, at least for a certain period of time, like for at least 1 year or 10 years or even 20 years. For example, accountant, lawyer, doctor, teacher, professors. So these are all occupations. So you have some major things to do in work. So that's occupation. So in one career for one person, there can be many occupations. So if they change the occupation for a few times in the entire life, somebody can have just one occupation for his or her entire life. So that's also possible in real life. And another concept is job. So that's a specific position of employment within a occupation. So within a occupation, there can be different jobs. For example, for a teacher, he or she can work at this high school, and next year, she or he can work at that high school, the second high school, and in the third year, he or she can switch to the third school. So the work at every school is a job. So specific position in a organization or a specific position in a company or somewhere else. So that's a job. So in a occupation, there can be different jobs, or there can be just one job in one specific occupation. So that person does not change the job at all. For example, to be accountant. So probably that person just be that is just that accountant in that company for a few years. That's his or her total occupation. So that's he or she just has one job in his or her occupation. So these are several concepts, basic concepts that we need to know about work. So work is just a generally concept that refers to something that we need to do, no matter for survival or for salary or for the cleanliness in our house and for other purposes. So that's something that we do. And a job is a specific position. So in a job, we work. And a occupation is a specific profession. And occupation can include several jobs or just one job. A career is for somebody's entire life, and a career can include several occupations or just one occupation. Yeah, so these are the basic concepts. And another concept is recreation. So this word literally means that somebody restores or refreshes or recreates to create something. So you can understand this word as restore or recreate something. So recreation can means things to do away from work. For example, entertainment. For example, playing basketball in weekends. So that's something for recreation. Or playing pools in the weekends. Something to do, but that is not work. So we entertain ourselves, we refresh ourselves, so we do something else instead of work. So recreation is the opposite of work. So for work, we generally mean that we need to do something. We have to do something because we need to get paid. We want to maintain the house, so we work. But recreation does not tie to a specific purpose. With these things to do, after we do these things for recreation, we do not get the specific benefits such as salary, such as the cleanliness in the house. We just want to refresh ourselves, so we do something to recreate. So that's what the recreation means. And a very important topic for this week is the factors to consider when everyone makes a career decision. So choosing a specific career or occupation, what we need to consider, what we need to think of, what factors we need to pay attention, and analyze the pros and cons of each of the factors. So I think that's really important part of our life because we will have a career or we already have a career. So we need to have a clear understanding of what career fits us, fits each of us the best. So I think this course is very helpful for each of us, especially for college students, because we often talk about some topics that are really close to our life. For example, choosing a career is something everyone needs to consider as a college student. So let's talk about the factors, each of the factors to consider when we make a career decision. And before talking about those factors, you can have a self-reflection. What factors do you consider if you are choosing a occupation? Or if you are going to choose a occupation, what factors do you consider generally? So you can pause the video right now and think of this question and write down your answer on the note or on the paper, or you can find somebody else you can talk to and talk to them, answer this question. So let's talk about the factors to consider when choosing a occupation. So first of all, through self-reflection, we can know that we have some attitudes about certain occupations. So we may not have a specific attitude about a occupation, but sometimes we often have attitudes about some occupations. So attitudes are something that you have a opinion of, or you have a emotional feeling of something. So that's attitude. So you may have an emotional feeling about a certain occupation. For example, teacher. So you may have a specific attitude about being a teacher or about teachers. So that's about how you think of or how you feel about these occupations. So those attitudes sometimes heavily influence whether you choose that occupation or not. So for example, if you really like teachers, you really like teaching, you think that teachers are really adorable people, kind of people, you may have a really positive attitude toward teachers. You may choose to be a teacher in the future. But sometimes you may have a really negative attitude toward teachers or the occupation of being teachers. You may not choose to be a teacher because you do not like those people. You do not like this occupation. You think that teachers are not good. Teachers do something bad to students. So that's your attitude. So attitude sometimes influence what kind of occupations you choose. And sometimes I hear some people say, "Oh, why I joined the army? Why I became the Navy or became a soldier in the army or in the Navy, in the Marine?" That's because their fathers used to be in the army, used to be in the Navy, used to be in the Marine. So that I think that reflects their attitudes, because their fathers had that kind of occupations. Their fathers were soldiers, So they had a positive attitude toward being a soldier, attitude toward soldiers, positive attitude toward the military people, so that they think that being a soldier is very proud. So they choose to be a soldier again for his or her own occupation or career. And the second factor to consider is your own abilities and aptitudes. So there are two things that are related. And the first thing is ability. So what can you do well? So you can have certain ability in certain skills. For example, you may good at music, but you are not good at math, or you are good at math. You're good at calculating different things. You can solve the mathematical problems really quickly in your life, but you're not good at music. Right, so that reflects your abilities. And another concept that is related to ability is aptitude. Aptitude, yeah. So that's the skills that you have to acquire some proficiencies. So that's not the that's related to ability. So that can be your ability. So you have certain skills, and so that with those skills you can be good at something else. For example, if you want to be a engineer, let's say mechanical engineer, you need to know about math. You need to know about physics. Probably you have a really good skills in solving matrix. So matrix is something in mathematics. So matrix can be like something in linear algebra. So if you have learned the linear algebra, solving the matrix is the basic skill. So if you have that kind of skill, that makes you possible to be really good at being a mechanical engineer. Because for a mechanical engineer, you need to like build models for a certain machine that you design. So you need to have a notion of the space, and also you need to have a notion of math. So you need to calculate the dimensions. You need to calculate the details of this model of a machine. So that's aptitude. So you have some skills, and with those skills, you can be good at something else. So those skills are aptitude for that thing. So good at math is a aptitude for being a mechanical engineer. So that's aptitude. So you need to think about this when you choose a occupation. So if you're not good at math, you don't have a notion of numbers, or you do not have a notion of space. You may not choose to be a mechanical engineer, because you need to have some kind of skills to be a good mechanical engineer. But without skills, it's really difficult for you to be good at it. So you need to consider abilities and your aptitudes and the skills that you have. And also the third thing is not the attitudes, not your feelings, not your ability, but your values. So we have a lot of values in life, and also at work, you want to find some values at work. So sometimes choosing a specific job or choosing a specific occupation reflects people's values. So what do they value? What do they pay attention to? What do they emphasize? So sometimes work is not just something you do for getting paid, or work is not just something uh, that you do because you are good at, but sometimes work is something you do because that reflects your values. You want to realize your own values in your life, so you choose that occupation or job. So in work, there are some work values. So that's you want to accomplish through a occupation. So the one example I can think of is being a doctor. A lot of doctors have the values of saving people's lives. So if you ask them why do you want to be a doctor, that's really difficult job, and you need to learn a lot. You need to spend a lot of the time and energy to learn the knowledge about the learn the knowledge that allow them to become a good doctor. But they still do that because they want to save people's lives. So hoping to save people's lives is a specific work value for a doctor. Or they become nurses. If you ask a nurse why do you want to be a nurse, she or he may answer that I want to save people's lives. I want to maintain people's health. So that's a specific value that they hold. And that specific value becomes the reason that they choose this occupation. Or another example can be, why do you want to be a teacher? A teacher may respond that I want that people have knowledge. That's a work value. And also another related factor to consider when choosing a career is motivation. So that reflects your what goals you have. What goals do you have? What are you proud of? So if you are proud of serving the country or defending the country, you can join the army. You can join the navy because you are proud of defending your own country. And or let's say people have different goals that they want to achieve. For example, I want to earn a lot of money. I want to be rich. So they may choose some careers that there is a lot of potential to earn a lot of money. For example, finance, probably doing business. So starting a business. So if you want to ask them, so why do you start a business? Because they may answer, because I want to be rich. Starting the business by themselves can allow them to be really rich. So that's the one goal that they have. So that reflects the motivation behind the decisions of choosing a specific career or occupation. So motivation is really important. So what you want to do, what you want to achieve, heavily influence what you do in your life. So these are the factors to consider so far: your values, what you value of, what you think most important, your motivation, what goals you have, what you want to achieve, your abilities, what you are good at, and your attitudes, your feeling about certain occupations. All these factors you need to consider for choosing a occupation. And another factor to consider is your interests. So that's kind of tied to your motivation or your attitudes. So people have different interests. Different people have different interests. They may have a set of or collection of a unique collection of interests for everybody. So that reflects what you like doing. So that's also a really important factor to consider. Not only your abilities, not only your attitudes, not only your values, but you need to consider what you like doing. If you choose a occupation in which you do not like at all, that may create some negative consequences, such as stress, such as depression, because for every day you are doing something you do not like, and you hope to do something you like to do, but you cannot do that because that's not your occupation. But what you do every day is something that you do not like to do or you do not want to do. So there can be a huge internal conflict in your mind if you choose something to do that does not reflect your interests. So the ideal case is that you choose the occupation that reflects your interests. You are doing what you are like doing. You are doing what you like doing. So that's the best. That's the ideal case. But first of all, you need to know about your interests. You need to know what your interests have, what your interests are. And there are 3 steps recommended in the textbook. The first step is to discover your interests. You need to have a self-reflection, or you can ask other people. So what kind of interests do you have? You ask yourself or you ask others. So make sure that you know about your interests clearly. And the second step is find certain occupations within this interest. So you need to make sure that these occupations reflect this interests. For example, if you like math, if you like solving mathematical questions, that's your interest. One certain occupation is called data scientist. So a data scientist, in their work, a data scientist need to manage data. They need to analyze the data to get the right conclusions. So that's the content of their work. So if you are good at math, you can choose to be a data scientist. Or if you really like psychology, you really like investigating people's minds. If you're really curious about why people think that way, why people feel that way, you can become a psychologist. Yeah, so certain occupations are consistent or are related to certain interests. So first of all, you define your interest, and second, you can target certain occupations that reflect this interest. And the third step, the final step, is that you need to decide which occupations correspond to your abilities and aptitudes. So you need to consider your abilities. You may have an interest in that occupation or in that field, but you do not have a lot of abilities. So that you need to choose occupation that can be related or can reflect your abilities or aptitudes. So the third step tells us that do not only think about your interests, but also think about what can you do well in reality. Interests reflect what you like doing, but doesn't mean that you are good at it. You may not be good at it. You may be good at something else. So you can find something you're good at and also something you like doing. So that's the third step. So after knowing about the 3 steps, recommended in the textbook, and also have something else I want to say, but that is not covered in the textbook. So Tal Ben-Shahar is a person, used to be a professor in Harvard University, and he had an open course that is positive psychology online. So that course is free to everyone. So you can find his course online on YouTube for free. So Tal Ben-Shahar was a really brilliant, really smart person, and a really really nice psychology professor. And he had some suggestions for choosing a right career or right occupation. So he suggested that if you want to choose a occupation, you need to consider three factors. The first thing is what you enjoy to do or your interest. So you need to consider what things are you want to do or you like doing or you enjoy to do. And the second one is your abilities, what you are able to do well in a certain occupation. So the second factor is what you're able to do. And the third thing is whether this occupation brings success, such as financial success, such as recognition. For example, if I choose this occupation, I can be rich. I can get a lot from this occupation. So that's also a really important factor to consider when you choose an occupation. So you need to combine the three. So ideal case is that the occupation that you choose can satisfy all of these factors. For example, you choose an occupation, but with that occupation, you enjoy to be in that occupation. You are able to do well in that occupation, and also that occupation brings you success, brings you financial success, for example. So that's the ideal case. So with that occupation, you can do something you like to do, and also you are able to do well so that you can get successful, and also you can get a lot of the benefits by choosing that occupation. So that's the ideal scenario. But sometimes you cannot get all of them. It's also good to get two of them if you cannot get all of them. So, for example, you can choose an occupation that you enjoy to do, and you are able to do well. But that occupation does not bring you financial success. It's also okay. At least you enjoy to do it. Also, you can choose an occupation that brings your financial success, but you do not enjoy to do, but you are able to do well. That also works. But that's not that ideal. Here is the example reflects the ideal scenario. We all know Facebook, right? So the Facebook was founded by Mark Zuckerberg. So I know everyone knows this guy. So he's really young. He's only 30 years old, but he's very rich because he founded the Facebook in the for the last 10 years. He earned so much. He gets so rich because of Facebook. So why he chose to start a business and create this website, the social connection website, Facebook? Because in high school, when he was a child, he enjoyed programming. He enjoyed to be a programmer. He enjoyed to create some kind of apps. And there's a story when he was in high school, he created a program that the people can get the videos online. So that's the where it's like a. Oh, sorry, I got the wrong memory. So when he was in high school, he created a program that is a music player in the computer. So you know that at that age, people majorly play the music using some kind of other equipment, such as tapes, such as the DVD, but they didn't really listen to music online or in the computer. So Mark Zuckerberg created a program that allows the computer to play the music. That's what he created in high school. So he liked creating, writing some programs and realize some functions in the computers when he was really young. And in the college, he realized that creating a website that allow people to have social connections, allow people to have social interactions online, that's maybe a really good idea. And he was good at writing the programs, writing the codes, and also he enjoyed to do this. He enjoyed to write codes, and also starting a business, creating a website, which is Facebook, brought him really huge success, huge financial success. And also he became really famous across the world because of Facebook. So I think that's the ideal case that a person can choose a occupation that reflects all the three factors. In that occupation, Mark Zuckerberg enjoyed that work and able to do well in that occupation, and also that occupation brought him huge success, such as financial success, such as the recognition in the society. So when you are choosing a career decision, you can think of the three factors. You can find a certain occupation or a few occupations that cover all these factors. So you can find a certain area that is overlapped by all the three factors. Something you like doing, something you're able to do well, something that you can get a lot of benefits from. Yeah, and also think about other factors such as your goals, motivation, your values, your attitudes about those occupations. So these are at least some of the factors you need to consider when you choose the occupation. There can be other factors you need to consider too. But these are really major factors, major reasons that you need to think of. And another factor to consider is that you need to consider what kind of people, what kind of person you are. So there's a theory developed by John Holland in 1960s. I think, yeah, in 1960s. He developed a theory about occupational interest, or about personality types. So he identified 6 personality types that fit 6 types of occupations. So there are different kinds of occupations, and they are suitable, or they are more consistent, or they are more tuned to certain personality types. So for example, if you are a person who is very outgoing, like to hang out with people, like to talk with people, if I ask you to choose a occupation in which you just sit there and look at the computer and doing some really clerical work. Probably that kind of work does not fit your personality type, because you are the person who likes to talk to his people, like the person who likes to go outside and interact with a lot of people. Your personality does not fit the work that ask you to just sit in the small office and do some work in front of a computer. So you can think of like what kind of personality that you are, and what kind of occupations reflect those personality types. So John Holland discovered like 6 personality types. So we can talk about each of them. First one is called investigative. So that's kind of that reflects the personality that the people are really curious about new knowledge. They are really analytical, means that they like to analyze the information and get the new knowledge. They want to investigate. They want to get new knowledge by analyzing, by investigation, and they really like thinking about something. So what they like to do is they like work alone. They are not like they do not like being guided or being led by other people. They do not want to be supervised. They just want to work alone. They want to investigate the things that they want to do. They want to investigate. And that's called the investigative personality type. And also they value, they think that independence is very important. Accuracy is also very important. And also they like to invent something new. So that's their values. And the second type is artistic personality type. So artistic kind of people, they are really creative. They are original. They do not like to imitate others. They rely on their intuitions. They suddenly have some kind of really creative ideas and original ideas. They want to express these ideas. So they want to create something new. And so that's artistic people. So they are really impulsive because they rely on their intuition. Suddenly they have a kind of intuition that occurs to their mind. They really eager to express them. So they like to be different. They like express themselves by creating new things. And also they do not want to be supervised. They just want to express their own ideas. So this kind of people think that creativity is very important. Self-expression is very important. And also they pay attention to beauty, pay attention to something that is beautiful because they are artistic. And the third personality type is social. It's called social. So this kind of people, they're outgoing, they're friendly to other people, they like to interact with other people, they like to work in the team, they are cooperative, they like to work together with other people. And so they like something they can accompany with other people. They like something they can help other people. They like working with other people. So they value the service to other people, and they value understanding others, and also they value the empathy of other people. So this personality type is social. So you can tell from the name that they like social. They like to socialize with other people. And another type of a personality is it's called enterprising. So it's a little bit like social. Enterprising means that they are also outgoing. They are also they also like hanging out with other people. They also like talking with others. They also like interacting with others. But there are other characteristics. They are really ambitious, and also they like adventure. They want to discover something new. So what they like to do is they like organizing and managing the activities of groups. They like make things happen. They like initiating and supervising other people. They like influencing other people. So they like to do something like what leaders do, or what the managers do, or like business owners do. So that they like to organize a lot of people and manage them and achieve a certain goal. That's what they like doing. They like to initiate some kind of activity and organize a lot of people and make it happen. So that's enterprising kind of a personality. So what they value, what they say important, or the success, the power, they really like to get power out of this social group. And also they like status, they like initiative. The another type of personality is called conventional. So conventional type of people are different from all other kind of personality types that I have talked about. So this kind of people are really well organized, really practical, and also really conscientious. So I think that you can learn from the psychology, Psych 1 class, that the conscientious, being conscientious is one of the big five personality types. So being conscientious means that this kind of people are really focusing on the details. They are really well organized, and yeah, they make everything in order. And also, the conventional people are traditional. So they are practical, they are traditional, they are well organized. So what they like doing is some clerical work or some computational work, and they like follow the leader. They do not like the initiate. They do not like creating something new, but they like follow the leader. They like other people tell them to do some work, and they like plan something. So this kind of people are conventional people. And the last personality type is realistic. So realistic people are different from conventional people. They are realistic people are really persistent, and we are really conservative. They are also materialistic. Materialistic doesn't mean that they like money. It is not that kind of a materialistic. But what that means is that they like things. They like physical objects. So they like work with things, objects, or animals, or some kind of things that exist in real life in the physical world. They like to repair things. They like to use machines. They want to operate the machines. and equipment. So this kind of people are realistic people. So they value common sense. They value practicality. They value nature. So this kind of people are realistic people. So you can see that John Holland also created a hexagon that included the 6 personality types. So you can see that investigative, you can see that they like ideas. Artistic people, they are creative. The social people, they like interacting with people. Enterprising, they are focusing on doing tasks. They are focusing on making things happen. Conventional people, they like order. They do not like chaos. They want everything to be in order. Realistic people, they like things. They like physical objects, like machines, tools, and equipment, and plants, and animals, and so forth. And I think for investigative personality type, I think scientists are good for people who are investigative. Scientists, or any kind of like investigators, or any kind of people who do research projects. So this kind of people are more suitable for people who are investigative. And artistic people, they're more suitable to be artists, or they can be designers. Such as jewelry designers. So the designer, their work is to design the new jewelry. And you can see that if you go to any kind of a jewelry store, so those things are really beautiful. They are designed by these designers, and I was amazed by their creativity. So I'm not that kind of people to be really creative to create such beautiful things, but the people who are artistic, they can be the jewelry designers. And for social people, they can go to some occupations that need a lot of social interactions, such as nurses, such as social workers, such as teachers. Yeah. So this kind of occupation are suitable for the social personality. And enterprising, and you can tell, to be managers, to be business owners. So that's for enterprising people. Conventional, like data scientists or data managers or secretaries. So these are for conventional people. The last dimension, last personality type, realistic, like drivers, like technicians, the technicians to repair the machines. Any kind of technicians are suitable for realistic people. And also, there's another thing that we need to mention is that these 6 types are not pure types. It means that in reality, every person has more than one type, more than one personality type. Every person is probably mixed with 3 or even more type. So probably one person is investigative, but also realistic, but also conventional. So a person can be can be both or can have three personality types. So that means that they can do something investigative, they can do something realistic, also they can do something conventional. So now one person. So not anyone. There's no such a person who has only one type. So everyone has like more than one type, like 2 or 3 or even more types. And also the second point is that there are some kind of relationships among these personality types. So you need to look at the hexagon designed by John Holland. So sometimes it's really likely that the people who are in one type are also in the types that are adjacent to this type. For example, if people are really investigative, it's really likely, it's really possible that they are also realistic and artistic. There is a high possibility that the adjacent personality types can coexist in one person, because these personality types share a lot of common characteristics. For example, realistic type and the conventional type, they share some characteristics. And the social type and the enterprising types, they also share some characteristics. So for social type, they like interacting with people. And for enterprising people, they also like interacting with other people. And another example is investigative people. They do not like to be supervised. They want to work alone. They have a lot of ideas. But for artistic people, they are also really original. They have a lot of ideas. They do not want to be supervised either. So these two types share a lot of common characteristics, and these two types share a lot of common heuristics. And also investigative and realistic may share a lot of common characteristics. So for one person who is investigative, he or she may be also artistic and also realistic, but it's not really likely that a investigative person is also enterprising. So these two are not that really compatible. So it's not really possible that the two types coexist in one person, because you can see they're really far away from each other. So investigative people, they're close to realistic and artistic, but they're really far away from enterprising and social and conventional. And the same rule is, the similar example is that conventional people may be realistic, may be enterprising, but they are not likely to be artistic. So artistic and conventional, they're really far away. So that's really interesting. So you know that this hexagon is designed in a specific way. The order of these personality types cannot be messed up. So you can assess yourself, like what kind of personality you have, what kind of personality types you have, using this hexagon and using this theory. And here's another question for you. What kind of personality types do you have? You can look at these two tables and look at the hexagon And think about it. What 3 personality types do you have for yourself? You can think of the right now and write down your answer. And you can pause the video right now and answer this question. Okay, so right now we can focus on the steps to make a career decision. So just now we all of the stuff we talk about just now are about what factors to consider when you make a career decision. But right now we talk about what steps you can follow to gradually make a career decision. And first of all, you need to know about yourself. Focus on yourself. You need to ask yourself, who am I? What do I want? You need to know about your interests, your motivation, your values, what you value most, what are your attitudes, what you want to get, what you want to achieve, what do you like doing, or what you like, what you are able to do well. So you need to know about yourself. So first step, self-reflection, focusing on yourself. And the second step, you can generate many solutions based on your the conclusions of your self-reflection. So you can have many solutions, such as I can be a data scientist, I can be a psychology teacher, I can be an accountant. So there's are all the possible solutions that you can get. And also, the third step is that after generating multiple solutions, you can gather some information about these possibilities. So you have solutions, but you need to make sure that this solution works. So you need to gather information about these solutions, and also you need to evaluate this information. So how to gather this information? You can ask other people, you can ask the experts in this field, in these occupations, or you can look at the information online. You can go to the career office in your school to know about these occupations. And also for online searching, I have a website to recommend. And this website is really nice website you can look at. This website includes the detailed information for almost every occupation that you can imagine, you can think of. So let's look at this website together right now. Okay, so you can save this address in your browser. So it's called ONET Online. So you can see that it includes all the information, almost every detailed information about every occupation. So you can go to occupation search. Yeah, you can search by a lot of ways. Find occupation. You can type in keywords like psychology. If I keep typing psychology, there are many occupations related to psychology. You can see psychology teachers, post-secondary, and industrial organizational psychologists, clinical psychologists, school psychologists. There are many occupations about psychology. You can go to psychology teachers, post-secondary. It's like a psychology professors in college. You can see that there's a general introduction, there's a summary, the tasks to do for psychology teachers, the skills that they need to have. Yeah, database, computer-based training software, analytical and scientific software. And the knowledge, they need to know psychology for sure. They need to know the English language. They need to know education. They also need to know sociology and anthropology and mathematics. That's good to know. And also they need to have these skills, learning strategies, instructing. Yeah, abilities and work activities and detailed work activities and all that. So if you're not sure, like what this occupation is about, what do psychology teachers do? You can go to this website and look at the details of this occupation, and also you can know what they do and what skills they need to have to be a psychology teacher. And also there are details. Yeah, there are details of this knowledge and skills and work activities. That's very interesting. So that you can go to this website and search occupation. Yeah, that's industrial organizational psychologists. Also, they have work values. Interesting. And also, there are related occupations. Or you can search something else, like a mathematics. There's mathematical science teachers, post-secondary. That's like a math professor, mathematician, mathematical technician, middle school teachers. Yeah, all these occupations are about mathematics. If you put out the music, you can search music. There's music therapists, music directors, musicians, music teachers, music directors and composers, singers. So all these occupations are about music. Very interesting. So you can go to AllNet online and search anything that you want to search, and see what's inside. Okay, so let's go back to the lecture. So the third step is that after you have multiple solutions about what you want to do, and you can gather and evaluate relevant information about these possibilities from anywhere. And the next step is that you need to make the order for these possibilities. You need to prioritize these possibilities. You need to decide which one is the top one possibility that you want to choose, and which one is the second one, which one is the third one, and so forth. You need to make an order of all these possibilities, so that you can have a direction. You can have a clear knowledge that you want to be what the most, and you want to be what else the second most, and so forth. And the next step is to make a decision. For example, if you want to be a psychologist or psychology teacher, you can make a decision. Oh, I want to be a psychology teacher in the future. So once you have a decision already, you can carry out the decision. So you can do something to realize this decision. So if you want to be a psychology teacher, you can do something to become a psychology teacher. For example, you need to know, such as know how to market skills to the employees, and then prepare the resumes. So before that, you need to have those skills. For example, since now you want to be a psychology teacher, you need to know how to be a psychology teacher, what qualifications that the psychology teachers need to have. And with those knowledge, you can do something to prepare. You can learn psychology. You can choose to go to graduate school to study psychology. And after that, you have those skills and knowledge and abilities. You can prepare the resumes and you can mark the skills. You can apply the positions. So these things to do are the things that to carry out the decision. And the next step, after carrying out the decision, you can get feedback from these actions. So you need to determine whether the choice, this kind of possibility that you choose, that is listed in the top one in your priority list, is viable for you, whether this choice is practical for you, whether this choice is possible to be your real choice. And also, you can see that in a dynamic way. You may have a choice this year, but next year, this choice may not be the best choice for you because the world is changing really fast. So one choice may not be always good. And this choice may be the best for this year. Next year, that kind of choice is maybe the best for you for next year. So you can constantly collect or get the feedback from the reality, from the actions, from the information that you gather. So these are the 7 steps that you can follow to make a career decision. And the next topic is about the factors, the elements that make work better. So what can make work better? What can make your occupation or your job better? Under what conditions you can feel or you're satisfied with the work that you do, or you can feel that, oh, the work I do is nice, is satisfied. So there are many factors that can make work better. So let's see what makes work better. And first of all, here are some things that makes work worse. So we can know about this first. And the authors of the textbook mentioned the bullying behavior at work. And there's a data showing that 35% of the work people in the United States reported that they were bullied at work at some point. So I think that's really high number. I didn't expect that like 1/3 of the U.S. people in the workplace were bullied before. So bullying at work definitely makes work worse. So on the other hand, if employees can treat each other well, and if there is no bullying at work, that will make work better. And another factor is that having to meet the deadlines and quotas at work also make work worse. So you know that for students, it's also true. There are deadlines for assignments, deadlines for projects, deadlines for final exams, and also the students are expected to to get a good grade. So that all these factors make people stressful. So when we talk about stress in that week, in week 5, I think we have talked about the timelines and these limitations in life are the factors that make people stressful. So here is also true. So why we are not satisfied with work environment? Why we are not satisfied at work? Why we think the work is worse? Because there are a lot of deadlines and quotas that we have to meet. We do not want to follow those deadlines and quotas, but we have to meet those requirements. And one example of quota is KPI. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this concept or not. KPI is a requirement for each worker or for each work group in the company, assigned by their leaders, assigned by their managers. So it says the KPI of each person or each work group says that, oh, you need to do this amount of work, or you need to have this high level of performance at the end of this year or at the end of this month. Otherwise, if you do not meet the KPI requirements, you will get fired, or you will not get the bonus, or you will be punished in some kind of ways. So a lot of the workers in the workplace, they are really stressful because they need to meet the KPI. So KPI for them becomes a nightmare for them. KPI has become some kind of a devils in the workplace that they need to deal with. So KPIs create a lot of stress and create a lot of negative consequences at work for working people. Another factor that makes work worse is having to compete with others. That also creates a lot of stress. And another factor, lack of job security. That's for sure, because if people think that it's not safe to work in this position, they are really anxious about their future. They're anxious. There's one day in the future they're going to be fired. They will lose the job. So how to raise the family? How to pay the mortgage? How to pay the car insurance? How to pay the medical insurance for their family? So job security is really a big factor to concern about, to worry about for workers. If there is lack of job security, the guess that they will be fired in someday in the future, they will be really stressful. And also, they do not like the work anymore because of a lack of the job security. Another factor is there is little opportunity for growth. The usually workers or the employees at work, they do not only concern about now, about the salary for this week or for this month, but they also concern about the future. They also concern about whether they can have a good career in the future. So they need the chance to grow. They need to grow their skills. They need to have more and more work experiences so that they can go higher in their career in the future. They can climb the ladders in the same organization, or they can jump to another company for a higher paid job. To realizing that, they need to have the opportunities to grow their skills, to have more skills, to have better skills, to have a better, more knowledge to carry out the work. So that the opportunity for growth is also a big factor that employees concern at work. If there is little opportunity for growth, they may be really stressful. They may think that, oh, there's no future in my career. And also another factor can be for the service industry. So sometimes people need to, the frontline employees need to deal with the difficult customers. The customers are angry. They are not satisfied. They are really tricky. They do a lot of things to treat the employees bad. So the frontline employees need to deal with these customers, such as the waiters and waitresses in the restaurants. They need to deal with these difficult customers. They need to show the smiles to the customers, even though they do not want to smile to these people. Sometimes they are feeling not good, they're feeling sad, but they need to smile to every customer because that's their work. In this kind of situation, that creates internal conflict. They do not want to smile, but they have to smile. Or these customers are difficult. They are not friendly at all to them, but they need to smile. They need to be friendly to these customers. So also this kind of conflict create a stress, create a feeling that, oh, this work is so bad. Sometimes at work, they do not have a really high self-esteem. They think that they're not competent, they are not good, they are not qualified, they're not worthy to be in this position. So that also makes work really worse. Sometimes the life and work are not balanced. For example, there's too much work, they work overtime too much. There's no time to deal with life to deal with the family. There's no life to stay with their children, stay with their husband and wives. So that also creates problems. So you can see that all these factors make work worse. But if you think another way, if there's no bullying at work, the work can be better. If there are not a lot of deadlines and the quotas like KPIs to meet, the work can be better. In other words, if they can have a more autonomy in their work, they can decide when to carry out their work and how much to carry out their work and what kind of a performance they can have. If this can be decided by the employees alone, the work can be better. They can have a better feeling toward the work. And if they do not have to compete with others, they just finish the work they need to finish. The work can be better. If there is a lot of job security, if they think that my job is really safe, I will not lose job easily in the future, the work can be better. If they're in the work on the position, there are tons of opportunities for growth. They can learn a lot from this position. The work can be better. Or they do not have to deal with difficult customers, that can be better. And if they can have a higher self-esteem, they can feel that, oh, I'm competent, I'm confident, I'm a person who worth this position. The work can be better. If there is a balance between work and life, there's not too much work, there's not too much life. Work and life can can in harmony, so the work can be better. So all these factors you can consider to see if the work is worse or better. Another factor is that the meaning at work. So sometimes people pursue meaning in life, and also at work they pursue meaning. So they want to know whether the work they do is meaningful or not. Also, so we just now talk about the values. The values that people have are the factors to consider when choosing an occupation. So people have some kind of values at work. So they also related to the meaning at work. If they can realize their own values at work, they are able to find the meaning at work. For example, for a doctor, I want to save people's lives by my effort. So if they can successfully save people's lives every day, they can find the meaning at work. They'll think that, oh, my life is really meaningful because I can do what I really want to do. I can realize my values. I can save people's lives. So on the other hand, if people cannot find the meaning at work, the work can be worse. So if they can find the meaning, they are able to find the meaning at work, the work can be better. If they are not able to find the meaning at work, the work can be worse. So meaning at work is also really big factor to consider if the work is good or bad. Okay, so next topic, we can talk about recreation. So before recreation, before this page, we all talk about work. We talk about how to choose the occupation, what factors to consider, and what factors make work worse, what factors make work better. But right now, we can talk about recreation, something that is not work. Here's another question for you to think of right now. Why do people need leisure time? So why don't just people work all the time? Why do they need leisure time? So that's a question that is worth thinking about. You can think about the question now and talk to the person you can find right now, or talk to yourself, and pause the video and think of this question. So in the leisure time, we can use the leisure time to do what we want to do. It's different from kind of work. So for work, at work, you need to meet the deadlines, you need to meet the quotas, you need to meet the KPIs, you need to do this, even though you do not want to do, but you want to get the benefits of finishing these tasks. But in the leisure time, you do not have to think about that. You just use your time to do what you really want to do. You can control the time. You do not have to work hard. So what is considered as leisure time? The key point is that we can use the time in the way that we want to use them. So that time is totally controlled by our own willing. We have the autonomy to use the time in the way that we want to do. So here are some benefits to having a period of leisure time for every week or every day. First of all, the stress can be reduced because we can use the time based on our own willingness, based on our own autonomy. We have autonomy in this period of time, so the stress can be reduced. And also, we do not have to meet the deadlines, the quotas. We do not have to deal with difficult customers in this period of time. So that can be less stress. And also, we can find meanings in life outside work. So meanings do not only exist in work, but also exist outside work. Also, recreation, leisure time. In leisure time, we have the chance to express ourselves. For example, I want to play basketball, but at work, I'm a data scientist. I can play basketball in the outside of work. So I want to express myself through sports, through physical activities. I do not want to just sit there and deal with data, but I also want to use my body to express myself. So I play basketball in the leisure time. So that's the opportunity to express ourselves. And also the benefit of recreation or leisure time is that there's a balance in life. So yeah, there's a work in life, and also there's a life in our daily life. There's a real personal life in our real life. So there's work and life balance. We do not only work, but also we live. We have a leisure time. So I think sometimes recreation and work cannot be separated that clearly. So think about Mark Zuckerberg, the example I just talked about. For him in high school, creating a program that played music in the computer, was that leisure or work? Was that recreation or work? For him, it can be work or can be recreation. He just wanted to do that. He just wanted to write codes. He just wanted to create programs. That's the opportunity for him to express himself. So in that sense, the programming activity to create a music player in the computers for Mark Zuckerberg is also a leisure time. It's also recreation. But that thing can be also work. Can be also his work, right? Because he was doing something that he wanted to do, and also he could get benefits of creating a program like this. Probably creating a website called Facebook can be both recreation and also work. So sometimes it's not really clear that the things that you do belong to recreation or work. Sometimes it can be both. Okay, so that's all the content in our lecture for this week. So for this week, you need to know about this knowledge, all the factors to consider when making a career decision: the attitudes, the motivation, the values, the personality types, your interests. So all these factors, you didn't know about these factors, and also know about Holland's 6 personality types, like investigative, social, enterprising, and so forth. Know about each personality type. And also the third thing is to know about is the 7 steps to make a career decision. And you also know about the factors or reasons that make work worse or better, such as the opportunity for growth. such as doing at work, such as meanings at work. And also you can know about leisure. So what is leisure time? What benefits are from the leisure time? Okay, so let's talk about our journal for this week, Journal 10. And first of all, before writing the journal, please finish the survey on the textbook on page 313 in the section Take Time to Reflect. So if you go to page 313, there's a little survey that you can do and finish the survey first. And next, you can write the journal. So in the journal, please answer 5 questions. First, review the list on page 313, right? And write down 3 most important values that are associated with selecting a career or occupation. So in the survey, the first question asks you to rate each item using numbers. So these items are values at work. So these numbers reflect your possible values at work, such as the first one is financial rewards. The second one is security. The third one is challenge. So these are things that you may value at work. So you can do this survey and write down the 3 values that you think that are most important for you. 3 of them you can write down in your journal. And then reflect your past experiences and the knowledge about yourself. Answer the following 4 questions. Answering the question from 2 to 5. Question 2, in what areas do you see your strongest abilities so far? So in what areas you have the strongest abilities? You can talk about this. And the third question is that what are a few of your major interests? So the third question is about your interests. You can talk about your major interests. And number 4, the question 4, which of the Holland 6 personality types best describes you? So you can talk about one personality type that fits you the best, that describes you the best. For example, if you are really investigative, you like to gain the knowledge through analysis, through your own investigation. You can say, oh, investigative is the type that describes me the best. And you can talk about it. And the last question is that you need to review the answers for question 1 to 4. And based on the reviewing, what occupation do you see as most suitable to your interests, abilities, values, and personalities? So you can find the occupation that is best for you after considering your interests, abilities, values, and personalities. If you already have a occupation, please imagine the scenario if you have not chosen any occupation yet. If you do not have any occupation, you can think about these factors and choose the occupation that is best for you. But if you already have a occupation, you can imagine that you have not chosen any occupation yet and answer this question. So this journal helps you to reflect what kind of occupation that is best for you. So please take the survey and consider each of the questions carefully and answer the question 5. So the criteria can be Yeah. So the first question, list the 3 values. That's 1 point. Second question, 3 points. Third question, 3 points. And fourth question, 3 points. And question 5 is 2 points. Yeah. Question 5 is 2 points. So I think this journal is very interesting. So help you to reflect, help you do the self-reflection so that you can have a careful and thorough consideration of what kind of occupation you can do in the future. So that's all for today, this week's lecture, and see you next week.